yourself back and limiting what you achieve, the success that you see, the goals that you accomplish, or maybe even just limiting being able to have what you want in life. If these are some thoughts that have crossed your mind, I have some tips for you. And if you're new on here, welcome. If you're a returning visitor, it's good to see you. My name is Brooke DeSantis from brookdesantis.org, where you can find tips, tools, and resources to help you build a business on social media all organically without paying for ads. Because probably if you're just getting started, you don't want to be spending money on ads anyway. So if you're on here, let me know. I'm streaming multiple places again tonight. I think I'm on, trying to think what I put this all on. Probably YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Pretty sure I'm on Facebook. TikTok. I don't know if I hooked TikTok up tonight. Either way, let me know where you're tuning in from so I can say hi when I come back through. So if you have sat and thought that maybe you feel like you're not right where you want to be, or maybe you haven't reached the goals that you really thought you were capable of, or maybe you're someone who, this is like the time of year where everyone thinks of the like New Year's resolution, right? And they come up with these big things to lose this weight and make more money and all the glitz and glam. And research shows usually by March, I think it's like 87% of people. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you know the actual statistic, let me know. But I feel like it's somewhere in the 80s-ish. They dump out. their whole resolution's out. And one of the biggest reasons being that your goal was too big. Another reason being is that you are limiting yourself through your own beliefs. You are limiting yourself because you are too afraid of being judged by people. You're too afraid of what they're going to think. You're too afraid of, if you fail, what are people going to say? Because I tried and I failed, and they're just going to be like, haha, I told you so. Like, So I've worked with some people lately who, when I talk with them, this is a big thing. They're so afraid of being judged. And I mean, I get it. We've all been there. You don't want to be judged. You want to be accepted for who you are. But one of the things that I've noticed is some of the people, and this could be a touchy subject, but some of the people who are afraid of being judged can be judgmental themselves, right? Everyone's got some sort of thing that they've got going through their head. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone does. And one of the things that I really had to learn when I brought my business on social media in 2017 was that people have opinions. People love to share opinions, but their opinions don't determine your success. Their opinions don't determine whether or not you're going to be able to do something. What determines it is your own mindset and how your thinking is. So you can put yourself in a box, right? You can put yourself in a box and say, these are my constraints. This is where I have to stay. Gosh, I cannot talk tonight. These are the constraints I have to stay in. These are the things that I have to live within, and I can't do anything else. Like, that is your choice to be in those constraints. And a lot of the things that you go through life determine what those constraints are, right? A lot of the things that you willingly do, a lot of the things that you've gone through could be environmental, it could be schooling, it could be whatever it is, but you end up with like this view in a box, right? Everyone's got their own little box that they're looking out of, their own little binoculars they're looking out of. And everything is in the perspective. Perspective is so different depending on who you talk to, right? You can have all these different people. You could have like 10 different people talk about a topic, and the perspective each time is so different. It's like when I was a kid, and, stuff always happens when you're in high school. And I always remember people saying, like, you've got this person's story, that person's story, and then the truth. Like, there's always three sides to it. There's what really happens, because depending on where you are, the perspective is so different. And there's a lot of reasons that fall into that. if you are someone who has noticed, hang on a sec here, I'm going to do some damage control on YouTube. Thanks. Gotta love damage control. Okay, so if you are someone who has, for example, you've got a thought of how something should be in life, many times you project that on other people, right? This is what you think, this is how you think it should be, and it just is what it is. You won't accept anything else until something happens in life, until you see another way through it, right? It's like all the different, if you look at politics, everything is perspective. If you look at, a really good example, if you've ever watched like some of the really drama-filled shows, soap opera type stuff, like you can see the different perspectives. If you're watching reality shows, you see the different perspectives, right? Everyone's got a perspective that they're coming from, and they believe that theirs is right. It's just how it is. You have that perspective, and you will always believe that it is right. And this is where the whole personal development part of life is so important. If you are someone who's never invested in personal development, if you are someone who kind of maybe plays around with it, but doesn't really knock into it because, you see that where you're at is the end all be all and there's nothing else, you're kind of holding yourself back. Everything that you do puts you in the place that you're at. Everything that you do keeps you where you're at unless there's a change, right? The only way to see something different is to do something different. What is it? The definition of insanity. Gosh, I really can't talk tonight. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over. And if you follow the law of attraction and you follow any of that type of thinking, where your energy goes, where your energy goes towards the type of thing that you're thinking, you're going to get more of. And if you have this belief that this is always going to happen to you, if you have this belief that this is all you deserve, if you have this belief that there's nothing else out there kind of thing, like that's all you're going to see, right? It's like you're looking through those binoculars. Someone who's looking straight ahead through their binoculars isn't going to see the really pretty sunrise or sunset that's over on the side. They're just going to see the shadow. And it's all because of the perspective. It's all because you're holding yourself back and keeping yourself, you're limiting yourself into this little box. And some people are happy with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You want to be happy in your box, be happy in your box. Stay in your box and be happy. Leave everyone else alone, maybe, But if you're someone who feels like you want to be better, if you're someone that feels like you want to do better, stepping out of that box and learning new things, thinking new things, seeing other perspectives can really open your eyes, seeing how and why, things are happening. It's like looking through the other person's binoculars or walking in someone else's shoes. It's a phrase I haven't heard since I was like a little kid. Walking in someone else's shoes and learning what it is that they see and think. A lot of people these days are so caught up in their own lives that they don't think about the fact that other people have things going on. They don't think about the fact that there's other views out there, or they don't accept the other views. Like, it's okay to have other views. It's okay for everyone not to agree. If everyone agreed, this would be like the most boring oatmeal type of society, right? If everyone were the same and thought the same, it would really be boring. You wouldn't have all of like the fun and the adventure. It would just be the same thing every day. You might as well be living inside a whitewashed wall house, right? It's just the way life unfolds. Everyone gets all these different perspectives and they get so set on being right. They get so set on, not accepting what others think. And it doesn't even have to be that you're putting your view on someone else. It doesn't have to be that you're trying to convince someone else why you're right. But sometimes just thinking about, why they see it that way, how they see it that way, sometimes seeing the perspective that they come from and the reasoning behind it can be eye-opening on its own. It's kind of interesting, right? And so when you start to kind of open up your mind and look at things from other perspectives, aside from tunnel vision, it allows you to open up yourself for better things. It allows you to see ways that you can learn and grow. It allows you to see things that you can do differently, right? And that way you're getting out of that box. You're getting out of those constraints and you're learning different things that possibly could work for you, right? You're learning different things, different ways that you can connect with people. You're learning different ways that you might be able to weave things around to help other people. So if you're someone who feels like you're holding yourself back, if you feel like you're someone who's kind of limiting yourself, just learning to open up and look at things and be willing to not so much accept, you don't have to, accept everything that everyone else says, but being able to look at someone without judging them and being able to look at someone without worrying about if they're going to reprogram you just by them being around you. It can be really eye-opening to see things from other perspectives is, I guess, the end all be all of the message, right? Stop holding yourself back and saying, this is what's right. This is all there is, because in this big world, in the grand scheme of things, there's so much out there. And if we were all the same, it really would be quite boring. And we wouldn't really want to do it so much, right? So just my thoughts for tonight. And if you're looking for some other tips, ideas, and things to help you with your mindset, be sure to check out my blog at brookedesantis.org, where you can find tips and tools to help you out. So I hope you have a great night.